See the Levi's right there? Real life high priest Aaron type of Levi with the tabernacle, God, 7 touches of age in heaven. And I'm the one that gave you your rights to heaven, your rights to go to heaven, get in heaven and high touches. I gave you your rights to your paraplegics. If somebody does something and your leg or your arm or your hand or your fingers get cut off, then you can get prosthetics. I gave your rights to your prosthetics. If you see anybody at a military from the United States of America barbecue and they're doing a Veterans Day, and you see anybody that has a limb missing and their limb was repaired, I gave them all their rights. So when you go to the barbecue and you see somebody with their limb repaired, you say Aaron Striplin gave them their rights. Anytime you see somebody going to any one of these service providers, Metro, PCS, Verizon Wireless, Boost Mobile, AT&T, and they got a mobility device and they want a service provider to use their eye cameras and their voice recorder and their computer, that's installed with them being a paraplegic and having a central processing unit operating system that operates their paraplegic body, that's blood and prosthetics. I gave them their right too. Whenever you see somebody go to a post office or any one of these other little offices that they got going on, and they apply for their passport and they get accepted, I gave them their rights too. And then when you see anybody that flies to an international country, any of the 194 countries besides the 195th country, USA, and they're using their United States of America passport to fly, and they're paraplegics or prosthetics, and there's no company of the Olympics or Special Olympics, then that's me. That's Aaron W. Striplin. I gave them their rights to fly to different countries without the United States Olympics or Special Olympics involved. When anytime you see somebody going to heaven, getting in heaven, having touches in heaven, I gave them that right too. And so when you see people that have a dispute against the United States of America government, like the president, and they file a redress of grievances, I gave them that right too. If you want to go to another country like Japan and establish a business with your business license, then I gave them that right too. When it comes down to your civil rights, I'm the one that gave you your civil rights. I'm Aaron William Striplin. I sued the United States of America President, the United States of America Vice President, the United States of America Secretary of Treasury, the United States of America U.S. Attorney, and the United States of America Director of the Federal Bureau of Investigations. I sued the entire cabinet of the United States of America, and I won Major League Mainstream. This is what I won. I won your right to be from the United States of America, born and raised as a paraplegic, baptized and born again inside of a hospital, and to get your papers, causes, and effects from that hospital, and to live your life as an American. If you want to go to any country, you can get your passport and go there without the Olympics. If you want to believe in Judaism and Christianity and go to heaven, you can get that. If you want to go to the hospital and tell them that you want a brand new leg as a prosthetic, then you can get that. If you want to get a medical plan and get brand new blood as a paraplegic, then you can get that. I gave you your rights to sue the United States President and or his cabinet for anything and redress of grievances. And so as we talk about all of the people that have served this country, we're going to include the United States of America citizen Aaron William Striplin, D as in David 187-1054, as a civil rights veteran who fought in all of the United States courts for your rights. The first black to go to heaven, the first person in any race to sue the actual president, and the first person from the United States of America to own another country. I own Israel. I own Japan. I own Turkey. I own Africa. And we're going to continue to own what we own, and I give you your rights. So as we talk about Veterans Day, we're going to include Aaron William Striplin as our civil rights veteran who fought in the A.F. Wray courts, Martinez, California, the Wakefield Teller courts, Martinez, California, the County of San Francisco Superior Courts, San Francisco, California, California Supreme Court, San Francisco, California, Washington, D.C.'s D.C. Court of Appeals, D.C. Civil Courts Division, U.S. District Court in Washington, D.C., the Supreme Court of the United States, U.S. Supreme Court in Los Angeles, California, Southern District Federal District Court, U.S. District Court, Los Angeles, California, U.S. District Court, Los Angeles, California, and in San Francisco, California, Northern District Federal Courts, San Francisco, California, U.S. District Court, Civil. And then Renee C. Davidson Courthouse in Oakland, California, and Northern District Federal Courts in Oakland, California, Civil. And you can go to youtube.com, Impeachment Committee, impeach Joe Biden and Kamala D. Harris, testimony 1 through 60. You can go to youtube.com, APB, youtube.com, All Points Bulletin, youtube.com, Sketch Catch, Season 1, youtube.com, Aaron W. Striplin, 425 NW Street, Washington, D.C., 20001, youtube.com, Chief of Police Pamela Smith, youtube.com, Metropolitan Police Department Homicide Detectives, youtube.com, United States Senate, youtube.com, White House Committee, White House Cabinet, youtube.com, Senate, and you could go to youtube.com, FBI Crime Lab, and this is the sheet. I cut the president's head off with his own sword. I shot him right in his head dead with a stone. He had me on this stone. And I lived on this stone at the Washington D.C.'s MLK Junior Library, at the Austin Road in Miami Beach, Florida, San Francisco, California on Market Street, Shattuck Avenue in Berkeley, California, all through New York, Manhattan, and Times Square. I'm staying outside on the stone, filing charges on him. I shot him right between his eyes with a stone for my slingshot chance to go to court. And he fell down on the ground, and I picked up his sword, his courts. I pulled his sword out, the word, the law, his law from his courts, the A.F. Wray Court, the Wakefield Teller Court, Northern District Federal Court, Southern District Federal Court, DC Courts, U.S. District Courts, U.S. Supreme Court, and I chopped his head off. Straight up. He died of COVID-19. His son died of COVID-19. And then he died of COVID-19, turning his presidency over to another president. And we watched that with Donald Trump, with Barron Trump, and with Joe Biden. We also watched Joe Biden being indicted and impeached, his son being indicted and him being impeached, and we seen Donald John Trump arrested twice, and once a mugshot. One president is being impeached while the other president is being indicted at the same time. We've never seen this before. Okay, and so I take his head, the president of the United States head, all through Israel. We're at the youtube.com tabernacle, youtube.com tabernacle of God, youtube.com 7 churches of Asia, youtube.com third chapel, all through Israel right now, with the United States of America president head dead, shot with a slingshot right between his eyes. And I marched down there and I cut his head off with his own sword. And I told him, you are not going to tell me that I'm not going to heaven, getting in heaven and having treasures. And that's what we doing now in the United States of America. By way of Goshen, Egypt, by way of Ararat Mountains in Turkey, by way of the Garden of Eden in Ethiopia, Africa, and by way of Canaan. I came all the way here to go to heaven and heaven with treasures, to build the church. And he told me that I couldn't. So I shot him in his head dead. I ran down there, I took his sword out, and I chopped his head off. And that's what we're parading around Egypt right now. We got the tribe of Judah all out in Tokyo, Japan right now. We got the tribe of Levi all out in Tokyo, Japan right now. We all out in Tokyo, Japan right now with the Prime Minister office. And we're going to continue on with the church. I love you. YouTube.com Prime Minister of Japan office. YouTube.com U.S. Supreme Court Plaintiff Aaron William Striplin versus defendant Joe Biden, case of slavery. And the president is dead, and we got in our hand his head. Let's do it. And I want everybody to remember the festivals and what we did in Egypt as we left bondage with the Pharaoh, as the Pharaoh and his son was dead, as they pursued us with Moses through the Red Sea, that Moses parted with God, and that the Pharaoh and his armies died. We seeing that same thing in the United States of America. I'm High Priest Aaron, type of Levi, Tabernacle, God, 7 churches of Asia in heaven, baptized and born again, Aaron William Striplin, Zion. And I approve this message.